everybody. Hey, welcome to this latest episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning, as we are going to go over weapons tonight. So, no, not talking about AK-47s and AR-15s and 357 Magnums. No, not those kind of weapons. Something a little bit more supernatural, okay? We're talking specifically about the surprise #1 box office hit of last weekend, Weapons, from now legendary horror director Zach Cregger, okay? This movie kicked the ever-living shit out of Freaky Friday or Freakiest Friday or whatever the hell it's called right there. And even though it was an R-rated movie and it had that, anchor around its neck of being an R-rated movie, but it still took the #1 box office spot there last weekend, and we are going to get into it a lot more than what I've just gone over here. But first, this.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
All right, everybody. So, yes, if you guys have seen Weapons here, then, this is going to be the live show for you, because since Movies Merica Spoiler Warning is live, that is your opportunity to talk to me about this movie live here, and I, in turn, to you. So, most movie review shows you see on YouTube and Rumble, they are pre-recorded. So, you have absolutely zero, bubkiss, nil, nada opportunity to talk about the movie in question, the movie of the nights with those guys right here. But me, hey, we can talk all about Weapons here tonight. This fantastic movie, this movie that really is not just a movie, it's a phenomenon. I mean, it's one of those movies where it has a lot of people talking about it. People more in the know about movies were looking forward to this Zach Cregger movie, and basically they got what they wanted. Okay, they apparently people got what they wanted. They liked what they saw, and they went out and told everybody. I mean, they told their cousin Sal, their uncle Larry, grandma, mommy, daddy, their sister, brother, their pet turtle, everybody, and word of mouth got out about this movie here. And so much so, like I said, right, that a lot of people scurried to the movie theater to check out the Weapons right here. And so I am expecting to see some folks jump in the live chat here to talk about some Weapons here. And so that reminds me to remind you that, yes, you can live chat with me through Rumble or YouTube here. And so if you're not familiar with how to get to the live chat part of this show, if you're watching me through Rumble or YouTube, on both Rumble and YouTube, I believe there is a button that's simply called chat. Okay. And you might have to kind of like scroll left and right or up and down or something like that to find it. But then when you hit the chat button, it'll just open up a chat window. And don't worry, I won't see you, or no one will know that you're really in there until you chat something. And you only have to chat something, simple as a thumbs up or, a hi or something like that. And but if you want to say more than that, again, like if you want to talk this movie Weapons here, or any movie, or live chat, whatever you want, by all means. All right. So this is Thirsty Thursday. This is pre-Friday. This is a time to relax here. This is Movies Merica Spoiler Warning. And if I had any rules, I probably wouldn't enforce them anyway. So I'm not going to enforce some like, you can only live chat about this kind of stuff kind of rule. I'm not that guy right there. Plus, I'm too tired to do that. So yeah, it's too much work. It's too much work to put on the old zebra stripes, shirt and try to referee the live chat right there. So the only thing I'm going to do, as far as a referee in the live chat is if you're one of those losers that pops in there and it just pops into the live chat, just drops a link in there for some stupid bullshit like, here's the link to my show about fungi, and you don't even say hi or hello or anything like that. You're basically just a massive loser for doing that. Then I'm gonna boot you out of my live chat right there. But other than that, hey, carte blanche. Talk about what you want up in the live chat right there, okay? And I want to hear from you guys. And then if you happen to know anybody, if you even remotely suspect, if there's anybody that you even remotely suspect would be into movies or, particularly the movie Weapons here, then, yeah, go ahead and just send them the link to this episode right here. And, excuse me. And, let them know they have the chance to live chat about movies right here. Since I got all choked up, that's my cue to get a drink off my brewski here. So, oh yeah, man, that brew, that's a potent one right there in a good way. But I'll be talking about that brew. I'll be talking about that beer a little bit later on in brew review time here. All right. But hey, let's do this here real quick, and let me try something here real quick. I'm going to get up in here, and we will get up into this. Oh, let me do this real quick. All right, and there we go. Okay, and that's not going to work. Stop sharing. Get the hell out of there. There we go. Stop that. Get that hell out of there. There we go. All right. Let's get to the right thing here. Try to get my ducks in a row here. And all right, let's do this. And there we go. And that's not going to work. All right. It wouldn't be fun if it was easy right here. So let's do this. And that is not going to work. Okay. And there we go. All right. And let's do this. Share this again. All right. It's a well-oiled machine here, everybody. Well-oiled machine. For sure. There we go. All right. Get the heck out of there. There we go. All right. And let's do this. We're going to show that on stream. There we go. Get this going on. Presenter view. There we go. Get that out of there. See how that looks. Hey, there we go. All right. That's much better. I like that so much better. All right. Well, I wanted to put the picture of this character from Weapons right there. And if you've seen the movie, you know this character as Aunt Gladys here, okay? And so again, the movie, the show is called Spoiler Warning, or Movies Merica Spoiler Warning. And I'm about to drop a very heavy spoiler for the movie Weapons right here. So you have been warned right here. But yeah, with the movie Weapons here, Aunt Gladys is the big bad guy, or the big bad lady, I should say. So she is the villain. Aunt Gladys turns out to be not just your typical little friendly aunt that's coming over to just stay with you and maybe bake you some chocolate chip cookies and tuck you in and talk about nice family memories or anything like that here. Let me adjust. This is really driving me crazy here. Let me do that. That's fine. Let's do this. All right. Yep, let's get out of that. There we go. Getting out of that. And let's stop sharing that. I'm trying to get this. I'm a stickler for trying to get this looking better here. And that is not. Nope. There we go. There we go. See if that's looking better. And that's probably not, but all right, here we go. It's just one of those things where I'm like a stickler for trying to get things to look exactly the way that I want them to look there. And let's try that. Yeah, it looks basically the same. Anyway, so you know what? That's Aunt Gladys. I wanted to show you a picture of Aunt Gladys while I'm talking about Aunt Gladys here from the movie, and this accomplishes that. But anyway, so Aunt Gladys. So yeah, it turns out that when we're talking about the premise, the premise of Weapons, the premise that they let us know about in the trailer, where you have the kids and they wake up at 2:17 a.m. and it's 17 kids from the same elementary school class taught by Miss Gandy here, played by Julia Garner. Well, the reason that those 17 kids just up and woke up at 2:17 a.m. in the morning and ran out of their house and just ran to God knows where is because of old Aunt Gladys that we see here in the picture. And Aunt Gladys, she is portrayed in this movie as like just being the aunt of a character, a little boy named Alex, that is in that class, that is in that elementary school class that completely disappeared. And we find out that Aunt Gladys is the reason that those kids disappeared. And the reason she's responsible for that is because Aunt Gladys, she's a witch. All right. She happens to just be one of those witches. Okay. I know. It's yep, that's not very nice of her right there. So, but she is a witch, and it's been a while since we had like a good movie with a witch in it, as far as being the big villain in this. And so she again, she portrays herself as like just some remote relative of Alex's here, as his Aunt Gladys, and she's coming over to stay with him and his parents, and just to be cared for, because supposedly she's on her deathbed, she's on the verge of death. And so Alex's parents are like, hey, you know what, that's just what families do. Families just stick together, and they take care of each other. And when his dad is talking about Aunt Gladys coming over to stay with him, I mean, you could tell he is not too happy. He's kind of like those typical dads, typical husbands, where the wife just kind of lays down the law and says, hey, you know what, this relative is coming over to stay with us, and that's final. And the dad's just like, oh man, okay, whatever, all right, whatever. He knows, like, hey, if he ever wants to get any from his wife ever again, he's going to basically do what the wife says, right? And so he's like, all right, this Aunt Gladys is coming to stay with us. And so he's explaining to Alex, his young son, in the car, like, hey, your Aunt Gladys is coming to stay with us, and it's just right that we take care of family. Well, Aunt Gladys doesn't exactly share that whole take care of family sentiment right there. She basically believes in another sentiment that's kind of more like hey, screw over your family, okay? Like, use your family up literally, okay? And she's using up her family, because we don't even know if Aunt Gladys is actually really part of their family. They're just all assuming that she's part of the family. But Aunt Gladys proceeds as a witch to take over the minds of Alex's parents. Okay, so she's a witch. She can cast spells, and as we see in this movie, she's got that like that thorny tree that she carries around in her little bag or little purse or whatever. And then what she does is she'll break off a branch of that tree, and then she takes like something that belongs to the person whose mind that she wants to possess, right? She wants to of the mind of the person she wants to control. So she'll take hair or an object of theirs, some other object, like something they've touched, maybe a wash rag or some little piece of that, and wrap it around this little branch, this little twig of that thorny little tree. And then she'll take a prick of blood and a prick of her own blood, and she'll wipe her own blood over the thorn there. And then she's got that little bell, and when she rings that bell after doing that, then that locks in the spell on a person that she wants to take control over. And she obviously did that with Alex's parents there. She did that whole ritual there to this whole like witchcraft ritual to take over his parents, because we do have that scene where Alex is expecting to get picked up by his dad or his mom from school, and nobody picks him up, and then he has to walk all the way home from school. And he walks inside, and his mom and dad are just vegetables. They're like just sitting at the kitchen table with his Aunt Gladys, and they're just his parents are like just sitting there at the table, motionless, just doing nothing. They're completely vegetative, or in a complete vegetative state. And then Gladys is talking to Alex, and saying, hey, you know what, I'm going to need you to feed your parents, okay? They're underneath my spell, but they still need to eat. And you know what, you are going to have to promise, you're going to have to swear to me that you're not going to tell anybody at school or anybody else about what's going on here. And I need your parents, I need their life force to keep me alive. And about all that, you better not tell anybody. Otherwise, this will happen. And then she basically she commands Alex's parents to like pick up like this fork, and they start stabbing themselves repeatedly in the face with this fork. And of course, Alex is like, stop, 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 stop. And it's one of those scenes, it's a scene that's meant to illustrate the power that this witch, that Aunt Gladys, has over anybody that she possesses there. And also to illustrate to Alex, like, hey, you better keep your mouth shut. You better do exactly what I say. Otherwise, I could do a lot worse to your parents. Like, you think them stabbing themselves in the face with a fork is bad? I can make them do horrible, even more disgusting things. I can make them eat each other. Okay, I mean, really, just like putting like grotesque, disgusting images in Alex's head and our head in this movie, and really spelling out how evil Aunt Gladys is in this movie. And it kind of begs the question, with all the rest of the evil stuff that Aunt Gladys does in this, is like, what is Aunt Gladys? Okay, is she a human being? Is she something that used to be a human being, and maybe she still is, and she's from long, long ago. Maybe she's even from centuries ago, where she was dying of something, maybe even centuries ago, and she happened to be a witch, and she knew of some witchcraft that she could perform in order to use other people's life force to stop her from dying and essentially just live forever. And so she's been doing that for decades, centuries, God knows how long. Because she does mention in a scene, she talks about like somebody dying of consumption. And, when you think about illnesses nowadays, you're like, consumption's not a big illness nowadays that people need to worry about. I mean, that's the old school word for tuberculosis. All right. And, whenever I hear of consumption, or, we hear the word consumption, what do I think of? That old game we used to play in school, Oregon Trail, right? You play Oregon Trail and say like, Bob has died of consumption. I mean, it's a disease that you don't hear about a whole lot anymore. And so it kind of clued you in like, oh, she's talking like a really old person here, like somebody from way back, like centuries ago, or, and so she kind of gave off that impression that, okay, yeah, she's definitely somebody that's very old, much older than she gives off, but that would be because, she's practicing this witchcraft to take over people's minds and suck their life force out of them here. And so there's either that, or, and I should add here that, I just described maybe the first option there. Well, there's a second option I'm about to give you, but I wanted to let you know that Zach Cregger, the director, okay, he gave these two options, one of which I've already told you, and the one I'm about to tell you. He gave these two options to actress Amy Madigan, who plays Aunt Gladys, okay, and said, you could choose to make Aunt Gladys one of these two things, all right? And you know what? You don't have to tell me which one you choose, all right? Just pick one, and you don't have to tell me. I kind of like not knowing. So, and Amy Madigan, you might recognize her. A lot of people are going to remember her as Kevin Costner's wife in Field of Dreams, or she was Uncle Buck's girlfriend, Shanice, and Uncle Buck there. She's been in a bunch of movies there. She's also married to Ed Harris as well, a very famous actor, Ed Harris as well. They've been married for a long time. And anyway, so the second option that Zach Cregger gave her, the director of the movie, gave to Amy Madigan, is that Aunt Gladys is not human. She's never been human. She's like this creature, and she dresses really weird in this movie because that's the best she can do best this alien or this creature can do as far as like trying to look human. It's not very good at style and wearing clothes that humans wear. She picks like really terrible looking stuff. And Zach Cregger and costume designer in this movie, they basically called the look that Aunt Gladys has in this movie as deranged grandma, basically. Okay, and so and you see that right in this picture right here. She just looks deranged and crazy, and you just don't want to know her. And you're like, oh God, she's creepy. And you know what? Turns out you have no idea. All right, she's really creepy, and she does more than creepy things in Weapons here. So Amy Madigan had to make a choice, and I don't know. Zach Cregger doesn't know. So it's kind of interesting to kind of wonder, hey, which one of those did Amy Madigan choose right here? But anyway, just gonna get another tug off my beer here. So, and hey, go ahead, and if you guys are drinking, if you guys got something going on, you got some beverage, hey, go ahead and toss it back right there, because this is a movie party. That's what I intend for the show to be. Is it's a movie party basically, okay, where we can talk back and forth about movies on here. Obviously, in this case, we're talking about Weapons primarily, but get in a live chat and talk about any movie that you want. Hell, I mean, this is called Weapons, but if you mistake the movie Weapons for the movie Lethal Weapon and you want to talk some Riggs and Murtaugh in a live chat, right there, by all means. All right, I aims to please, but to that, here we go. All right, there we go. That hits the spot right there. Okay, but Aunt Gladys, yeah, she is just this parasite. Okay, she is somebody that you can tell has been doing this for a while, because when she is talking to Alex and commanding him and telling him, okay, this is the way it's going to be. All right, you're going to do this for me. You're not going to tell a soul. And she just says it with such confidence and such conviction, and with like she just has this matter of fact way about her. Like she's just like her casting spells on people and making them do horrible things to each to themselves and to other people is just like you and me just putting our shoes on, or you and me going and mowing the lawn. All right, it doesn't even affect her anything more than that at all. She's like, ho hum, I'm an evil witch. I do evil things. I make people do evil things to each other, and do evil things to other people. Hell, I don't even blink an eye about using 17 elementary school kids and sucking the life force out of them and making their parents worry something fierce. I don't care. It's all in a day. And so from that, you can tell that, yeah, she's been doing this for a while here. I mean, I think to the scene, and I think like the most shocking scene to me, or one of the most shocking scenes, is the scene where she just shows up at Marcus's door. Marcus, the principal of the school there, of the elementary school, played by Benedict Wong, and she just shows up at his door, and him and his husband are about to sit down and have a delicious delicious dinner there, and it looks like I mean it's kind of a white trash dinner kind of, it's like it's just chips and it has hot dogs. I noticed that he prepared 7 hot dogs, not 6 hot dogs. There's 2 of them. So I don't know. I guess if one of them wants to have an extra hot dog, they can have a hot dog. But he makes 7 hot dogs, not just 6. Okay. Then I think there's like baby carrots and some dip and some cookies, and it's just like a delicious little meal that they're gonna sit down and eat, while watching, some bug documentary or something like that. And she suddenly, Aunt Gladys shows up at the door, and, this whole scene right here where Aunt Gladys just kind of shows up uninvited, unexpected, interrupts them while they're about to sit down to a tasty, tasty meal and watch some TV. That's this scene, with Marcus and his husband and Aunt Gladys should be a massive lesson, a hard lesson about don't be so damn polite, all right? If you don't want someone there, especially when you're about to sit down and enjoy a nice little hot dog dinner, well, kick them the fuck out. Or, you know what? In this case, you both gonna die, okay? And that's what happens in this scene. If only they would have just ignored the door, okay? Or once Marcus got the door and saw it was Aunt Gladys, and if he would have just slammed the door, then maybe they'd still be alive right there. So, but then, of course, she did already have something of Marcus's here. Remember, she had the ribbons of his. She stole the ribbons from his office there. And she had pretty much everything she needed in order to cast a spell on him and make him one of her minions, so to speak, one of her weapons. Hence the name of the movie. I think all she needed was a bowl and some water. She could have got that somewhere, I guess. And she could have done that whole ritual to make Marcus one of his minions, or one of her minions there. And then I guess she could have commanded him, from afar, or, from outside the house to open up the door, let her in anyway. So, I mean, that's no guarantee. And, as I'm talking this through, I'm like, yeah, I think there's kind of a flaw in my logic. I think ultimately she could have accomplished what she wanted there. It's just Marcus and his husband being way too polite made it easier for her to accomplish her mission. And, of course, her mission was to get Marcus to be one of her weapons, okay? And then she goes and she cuts a little bit of Marcus's husband's hair off his head, and the whole purpose of that is so she can take Marcus's husband's hair and wrap it around that twig and use that to command Marcus to kill his own husband right there. And so, yeah, you just and that scene is creepy because you've got Marcus, and the movie proves he's this very tolerant, very even-keeled, very cool-headed, but probably too nice for his own good kind of guy there, where he kind of stays cool under pressure, but he's overly polite, and he just can't get a word in edgewise. Aunt Gladys is just yapping left and right, and he can't get a word in edgewise, and he clearly wants to say, hey, lady, get out of our house, all right? We're trying to sit down and have dinner. You're uninvited. You're unexpected. Get the hell out of here. That's basically what he wants to say. But Gladys is talking over him the whole time, and she's clearly controlling the conversation there. And so it's creepy because this woman just enters the house. They let her in, comes into the house, and just does her witchcraft ritual, and just turns this normally nice, overly nice, cool-headed, dude, Marcus, the elementary school principal, into a killing machine, okay, into this brainless, mindless, ferocious killing machine with this spell that she's putting on them within their own kitchen, okay, after they stupidly let her in, and she commands Marcus to basically kill his own husband, and just basically bashes his husband's head in with his own head there. He just keeps headbutting his husband's head in until his husband's head is basically just a pile of bone and brain there. And of course, Aunt Gladys is kind of looking, as this is going on, just kind of looking over there. Okay, keep it up there, buddy. Yeah, you're doing a great job, man. Yeah, kill that guy. Oh yeah, good job. All right, there you go. Yep. Keep it up. There you go. I got other plans for you. You just keep doing that, and I got other plans for you. And then those other plans, turns out that she grabs the lock of Gandy's of Justine, played by Julia Garner. She grabs that lock of Justine's hair that she stole, that she cut off of Justine while she was sleeping in the car, and ties that to the twig. Okay. And then I think that's when she breaks the twig. And then that tells Marcus to go and kill Justine. Okay. That's like the command for Marcus to go kill her. So far up into the movie, Marcus has just been this very nice, tolerant, level-headed, cool as a cucumber guy, that's been very nice to Justine Gandy because the whole town is after her ass, and he's just trying to be understanding and trying to make it as easy for her as possible. And then he goes from being that, like just this normally functional human with agency, to this just brain dead killing machine there. And it's just one of those like very creepy things about the movie here, where you just get this guy that normally he's just like just a normal guy with agency. And then of course that leads to the scene, and this is one of the scenes where they did release it before the movie, where Justine Gandy is at the gas station, and then Josh Brolin's character Archer comes up and confronts her at the gas pump there. And then she looks over there, she sees Marcus, running, with the Naruto run, just like you see the kids, in the in the trailer there with the little arms out, Naruto run. And of course she's looking at Marcus like, what the hell is that Marcus? Is that my boss? Why does he look so weird? He's got blood on his head and his eyes are bugging out of his head. What is going on? And of course then Marcus just runs and makes a beeline for her, because he's under orders to basically kill her, no matter what, at any cost, and tries to kill her. And so that was just one of those things about this movie that just proves the evil of Gladys here. And so it's like, just let that whole scene of them letting Gladys into the house, let that be a lesson. Like, don't succumb to that social pressure, to just be overly nice, be true to yourself. I mean, if you don't want somebody coming into your house, they're uninvited, they're showing up unexpected, like, hey, just stand your ground and say, hey, you know what? Nope. If you want to come over, you let us know ahead of time, and we'll arrange something like that. But for right now, no, you're not coming in. Boom. Shut that door on them right there. And, call it a day. All right. Exactly, just like that. Just shut the door on him. Say, get the hell out here. All right, that's what I would do. All right, let me take a little talk on this. It's one of those days, one of those episodes where I don't know what happened, but my throat's like a little sore, so I have to have my medicine. There you go. And it's a Thirsty Thursday, I should say. That's one of the reasons I'm drinking, because I'm getting ready to get into Friday and get into the weekend and all of that stuff right there. But let me do a little housekeeping. There you go. I think that's how it is right there right now. And let's do this here. Just got to take care of important business. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. So there we go. Everything in its time. I run a tight ship around here, everybody. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know about that there. So, but all right, let's check out here real quick. I just want to check something out here. And all right. So there we go. But Weapons is, I think this Weapons is it's a feel-good story about the box office right here, because I'm so glad that an original movie finally won, the box office here. I mean, I think we had Sinners, a few months ago, from Ryan Coogler. It was another original movie, another horror movie that won, that came in number one at the box office, I believe, its first weekend right here. And, that was a, feel-good story. Sinners wasn't really that big on that movie right there. I know that a lot of people love Sinners and just sing its praises, and they're just like all over it, and they're just like, oh god, this is a great movie, it's great, this is awesome. And it had its good parts to it, but one part of me just can't help thinking, and this is just me being completely honest, that you're supposed to like Sinners. You're supposed to say it's a good one. And I'm not doing it. It's not terrible. It's just kind of a mediocre, kind of a mid horror movie right there. Where Weapons, there is nothing mid about Weapons, man. It comes at you full throated, full force. This is a movie where, I mean, just on the drive home after seeing it there, I was thinking about Weapons the whole time, and I couldn't wait to get home and just fire up all the YouTube shows of other content creators on YouTube just to get their take on Weapons. I wanted to find out everything I could about their theories on Gladys and that kind of thing here. And actually, let me do this here real quick. Let's see if I can fire one up here. Let's see this. Do this. Stop sharing that. All right. Because I've got. All right. Let's do this. Pure evil. Here we go. Let's find out a little bit more about Gladys here, because I was watching a video here today, and all right, I think I like this one right here. Yeah, let's do this one. All right, share this here real quick. I want to watch this. All right. I don't care if you don't want to watch it. I want to watch it. All right, we're gonna watch this damn thing. And let's do that. There we go. All right, let's check this out here. And yeah, I want to definitely hear this. Okay, let's check it out. And this is basically just this guy right here, the fictitious Dark, and he is just talking about Gladys and just going over some of the things that Gladys did in the movie. I just found it very intriguing. So let's check this bad boy out.
Zach Cregger horror film, Weapons. Weapons is about a town where one night a whole class vanished. The town doesn't fall to monsters or demons, but to a single witch. From voodoo rituals to salt lines, dream stalking, and even parallel.
And let me know in the live chat if you can't hear this video, because sometimes when I play these videos and I can hear it here, sometimes it doesn't come through the live streaming software here, and someone's got to hey, Van, hey, dum-dum, we can't hear. Then I got to restart it again. But anyway, let me know.
To the ancient tale of the Pied Piper, Weapons is packed with layered folklore and occult symbolism. The introduction of the witch shows that she is sick and dying, but much like a parasite, she uses her own kin to her benefit with witchcraft and specifically voodoo rituals. These spells function like life force siphons, draining the energy of those closest to her. Her family members begin to wither, become glassy-eyed, and eventually fall into zombified obedience. This idea of feeding on energy is central to many folk traditions, and it is very apparent in the film how the witch slowly comes to life, with more energy, looks less sickly, and becoming somewhat less hideous throughout the film. In voodoo and witchcraft, the concept of a familiar or bound servant is often created through ritual domination, sometimes using personal items, blood, or hair to anchor the spell. But the family's life force isn't enough. The witch sends Alex to steal personal items from his classmates. But in many magical traditions, these objects become conduits of influence. This is known as sympathetic magic, the belief that you can affect a person through something that was once theirs. Even more chilling is her use of hair, perhaps the most potent personal link to folk magic. With it, she marks victims for death, tying their essence to ritual killings and hexes. This is one of the most obvious spells in the film. When she gets some of your hair, she ties it to a twig with her own blood and breaks it, causing those already afflicted by her spells to try and kill the person at all costs. Throughout the film, the witch appears in dreams and glimpses. This isn't just cinematic flair, it's a nod to a real-world psychic practice known as remote viewing. Remote viewing is the supposed ability to see distant people, places, or events without being physically present. Often described in military paranormal contexts, practitioners claim to enter a trance-like state and visualize targets in other locations, even in other minds. In Weapons, the witch uses this ability to spy on the town, choosing victims, learning routines, even planting fear. The dreams aren't just hallucinations, they're psychic breaches. Many cultures view dreams as a connection to the spirit world, where the veil is thin and you may be able to connect to good or evil energies surrounding you. In every dream sequence in the film, the witch is spotted in their dreams. I believe this is a sign of her remote viewing the townsfolk, keeping her eye on the public so she can gauge how close the people are to finding her out. Even that creepy shot of Alex in the dream with the clown makeup, that's her makeup. That's her watching Justine hiding herself within the form of Alex. Her watching people influences every decision she makes in the film, which is eventually to leave. One of the more memorable moments in the film is the attack that occurs when a character crosses a salt line, an ancient form of magical protection. In witchcraft, salt is believed to repel evil, absorb negative energy, and form a spiritual barrier. Crossing it often symbolizes breaking a seal or inviting darkness in. When characters step over the line, the zombified victims under the witch's spell attack immediately. This is a protection spell that she set for herself to use her guard dogs, if you will. There's another layer in Weapons, a parallel to the legend of the Pied Piper. The Pied Piper of Hamelin was a mysterious figure who lured away rats, and then children, from a town that refused to pay him for taking care of their rat problem. Dressed in bright, colorful clothing, he used music to entrance the young and led them to their disappearance, firstly bringing them to a cave where they dwelt until they disappeared. The witch in Weapons wears bright colors, a strange choice for horror, unless it's intentional. She lures children first spiritually, then physically. She brought them to a cave, but in this case, the basement of her family's home, to feed on their life force, and eventually she means to leave and disappear. This, however, does not end like the Pied Piper story, and her plan is throttled. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this.
All right. So yeah, just kind of some, more in-depth information here about Gladys and what she tried, or what she did pull off in this movie. Just some of the processes, the rituals, and how she accomplished what she accomplished here. And that's the thing about this movie. I thought it did a very good job at hiding what was the root cause of the mystery behind this, because I had no idea. I had no idea what caused those kids, to just up and take off at 2:17, a.m. in the morning there, and what Zach Cregger was going to come up with as far as a cause for that. And then I didn't know what was going to happen with the kids, or is that going to turn the kids into some killing machines, or they're just going to start going around and just killing people there left and right, because that's kind of the impression I got is, when the kids were taking off and they're doing that Naruto run, I thought that Zach Cregger was going to have the movie was going to portray them as these killing machines that was just going to go around and just kill everybody or kill people. But it didn't go down like that. So not at all. And so, hey, it was kind of cool to, be surprised in this movie here. And then also just to be surprised about the fact that the ultimate evil in this movie is a witch, a dying witch that needs to, has these, these witch powers, these occult processes to use to suck the life force out of unsuspecting people there to keep her alive. And I just thought that was creepy there. It did remind me of, since, it's something that affects a whole little small town. It did remind me like Pennywise, right? From the It movies. There in the It miniseries, first played by Tim Curry in the It miniseries back in the 90s, and then later on played by Bill Skarsgård. in the It movies. And Pennywise was just this supernatural force that that existed down in this cave. And hey, spoilers if you haven't seen the It movies or It miniseries, but at least in the miniseries, it turned out to be like it was like this big spider kind of super spider creature that was living in down in a cave near Derry, and it kept control of this town using fear. And so Pennywise was the creepy, disgustingly haunting, grotesque, clown figure that this creature used to control the town with fear. And so that's why Aunt Gladys reminds me of Pennywise in the It movies, because it's got a Derry, the town in Weapons here. I think it's called like Maybrook, I think is the name of the town. So substitute Maybrook in for Derry, substitute in Aunt Gladys for Pennywise, where Aunt Gladys is like this ultimate evil that has her way with the town. She has the element of surprise. Okay, pretty much nobody really knows she's there except for Alex and his parents. Okay, and she can practice her evil witchcraft. I guess schemes on the town, and even like go as far as essentially kidnap 17 of the townsfolk's kids, and basically turn them into basically AA batteries. Okay, because she's basically using them for battery power. I guess she's using their life force there, and so she's like Pennywise in that regard, where she's just like this overwhelming evil there. So, but anyway, let's do this here real quick. I'm going to switch things up here and just let you guys know that, hey, there is this thing on this show, just like many shows on YouTube and Rumble. There's this button, this thing down below called the like button, okay? And it's meant for clicking. Yes, it's meant to be there for your clicking pleasure, okay? So, the great thing about it is it doesn't cost you a dime. It doesn't cost you a thing. Just got to click on that like button there, if you would, okay? Pretty please, with sugar on top, okay? And then while you're down there clicking buttons, again, down there, there's the subscribe or follow button on whatever platform, whatever app you're watching the show on, whether it's YouTube or Rumble. Go ahead, and if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe or follow button there. Again, cost you nothing to do that, all right? And then also hit that notification bell down there as well. And when you click on that, all that's going to do is it's just going to like email you, one time, letting you know when there is a brand new, piping hot, fresh, succulent, juicy, delicious new episode of Movies Merica waiting for your viewing pleasure. Okay. And then also to my friends, my family who are watching this episode, but you're not watching it live, you're just watching a recording of it. Well, first off, hi, good to see you. All right. I don't know if you're watching like, a week after I recorded this show, or maybe you're watching this 10 years after I recorded this show, but either way, hey, good to see you. Thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate it. Okay. And we can still communicate with each other. Okay. We just have to do that not via the live chat, because you're not watching this live. All right. You can do that via the comments section down below. And let me know, things like, hey, what do you think of the show? I mean, do you like the show? Do you hate it? Somewhere in the middle. Okay. And I always appreciate constructive criticism. If you, I don't know to do things better unless you tell me that I need to do things better and what it is that I need to do better. Okay. And I may or may not agree with you. Okay. But hey, unless you tell me that I'm doing something wrong, I'm going to have to assume that I'm doing everything 100% perfectly. All right. I'm just going to assume it. You're leaving me no choice but to assume that I have got this, and I've got this down to a science. I have achieved mastery in the live streaming arts, okay? And I do everything 110% perfectly. But if I'm not, you have to let me know. Otherwise, that's the assumption that you're forcing me to make right there, okay? And then in the comments section here, you can also let me know things like, hey, what do you think of Weapons? Okay, what did you think of the movie? Have you ever seen any other Zach Cregger movies like Barbarian? Well, I guess Barbarian's the only other Zach Cregger movie that's out there. But let me know if you've seen it. Let me know what you thought of that movie. What's your favorite horror movie? Go crazy. Go nuts. Hey, just comment about whatever you want down there. Okay, so just wanted to let you guys know that right there. Okay, because I want to hear from you, because I know not everybody has time to watch this show live. I get it. We have busy lives here on a Thursday night. And you know what? Not quite yet here, or maybe now. Oh yeah, because I think NFL preseason football I think has started. So I'm pretty sure there's probably a preseason NFL game on right now, and then before long, there's going to be regular season NFL football on Thursday nights there. So I got to compete against that right there. But hey, if you're somebody who's not into the sports ball, okay, then yeah, you've got your show right here. You've got your live movie discussion show right here, okay, called Movies Merica. Spoiler warning there. All right, so let's double check here. I'll make sure I got everything all in order. Do a little house cleaning here, see what we've got going on. And let's do this here. Let's check that out here. And again, in the meantime, while I am making sure I got everything in order here, then go ahead and take a tug off your beer here. I'm going to kind of multitask here. All right. As I get ready for some more Weapons here. Let me do this. I'm just going to do something here. Stop sharing that. And let's get out of that. And let's do this here. And let's add this real quick. I want to do this. Let's go. Do a little preppy. Because I want to make this show look as good as possible. Because like I said, hey, you know what? I haven't heard any criticisms here in the comments or in the live chat here. So I just have to assume that I'm doing everything perfect here. And I have achieved live streaming mastery here. So yeah, let me do that. I like that picture right there. Yeah, we're going to do that. Yes, we're going with this picture. I dig it. All right. Man, this is just... Nope, that's not going to work. All right, let's do this. Okay, there we go. All right, so going to do a little something here. Get this going on. All right. Yeah, that whole scene with Marcus, played by Benedict Wong here. I mean, I think they do a very good job with his character, because they portray his character as just this level-headed dude that, is just like this. He wouldn't hurt a fly, and he's basically a really nice guy. And then this movie just turns that guy into a killing machine right here. And it is just a testament to Gladys's power, right? Okay. And it is just something else. It's nuts. So let's do that. There we go. All right. We're going to do a little slideshow. Get that out of there. Sweet. And get over here. I know it's fascinating to witness me go through this here. There we go. All right. Let's do that. There we go. So there we go. There's old Marcus. See, I did it on the fly. I just wanted to put this picture together right there to show you. So that's Marcus. Okay. So I thought that was very deranged and creepy on how they took that level-headed, nice Marcus character, the nice elementary school principal, and turned him into what you're looking at right now, where he's got the blood on his head there, and the blood basically is not his blood. It's maybe some of it's his blood, It's primarily from him headbutting his husband's head, and to the fact, or headbutting his husband's head in to the point where his husband doesn't have a head anymore. Okay, his husband's head is basically just a big pile of brain and bone, basically now. And so then, and Aunt Gladys made him do that. It just shows you how evil, what an evil witch that she is in this movie right there. But now with this movie, Weapons, what it's also doing is it's provoking a lot of questions. Okay, so a lot of people are watching this movie, and just like people do nowadays, as my contact gets all dry here, as a lot of people are doing with movies nowadays, they're like just projecting their own narratives and what's the other word I'm looking for right there? Like their own little themes, right? So even though the director, the writer has said nothing about like these themes or narratives that these people are saying that the movie is really about, like they're saying that the movie is an allegory for this, an allegory for that, and the writer and director haven't come out and said that that's the case, or they've even gone a bit further, and the writer and or director has come out and said, no, this is what the movie is about. This is where I came from when I made this movie. This is what the movie is about. This is what I was thinking when I wrote the movie, when I made the movie. Take nothing else away from this movie. This is the movie. This is what the movie's all about right here. But then you still get people, in spite of that, just wanting to just project, just trying to like hitch whatever, political, in some instances, whatever political narrative theme that they want to the movie right here. And one of the examples of that, one of the instances, one of the scenes in the movie that's provoked a lot of that is the scene where Josh Brolin's character Archer is clearly dreaming, or he's having a nightmare, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, and this is, I think, this is still from when he is sleeping in his missing son's bed. He's having this dream, and in the dream he like walks up to, he's walking on the streets, and eventually I think he gets to like his own house. Okay, he's standing in front of his own house, standing on the street in front of his own house, and he looks up in the sky over his own house, and there's like a rifle that looks like an AR-15 or something, some kind of an AR-15 style rifle, just floating, big old rifle floating in the clouds, and then it says 217, like a LED clock display of 217, and people are to see that, and they're theorizing like, well, that's clearly Zach Cregger. He's talking about the need for gun control, and this movie is an allegory for mass school shootings and the despair that the whole nation feels after school shooting, except for those evil gun owners. Of course, not them and that evil NRA, okay? But everybody else is very, very sorrowful and sorry and sad about the situation. And so this Zach Cregger Weapons movie, it's an allegory about that. It's all about that. I mean, even though Zach Cregger said specifically what the movie is about, I'm just going to choose to ignore that and really just engage in some blissful ignorance, because that's what I do. And I'm just going to make some shit up and say, this movie is about what I say it's about right there. And I think it's about, engaging and enforcing and creating common sense gun control, meaning take everybody's guns away so that the government can do whatever they want, can inflict as much pain on the people as they possibly want to, and make them do whatever they want to because they're not armed. Okay, that's what the movie's really about. And so this rifle scene, floating up in the sky, that's just one of those things where people just are just inventing their own takeaways from this movie. And if you watch, and that's like I said before, when I came home from watching the movie, I couldn't wait till I just fire up all these, videos on YouTube about weapons. Okay. And I heard a lot of that, like all these content creators talking about weapons in the YouTube videos, and they were like coming up with, oh, this weapons is really about this, it's about that, it's about that, it's about that. Or, if you're on X and you're on there and you basically, X is a good place to see the internet be the internet. Okay. The internet being the internet, what that means is, the internet really draws out, how do I put this? It really draws out the people where I think God kind of was like, when he was creating them, I think he was like, all right, well, you know what? I can unbox the good brains. Okay, I've got these good brains here, and they're in the deluxe brain box. You have to, cut the tape open and open up the box and pull out the deluxe brain, and works very, very well. But I'm too lazy, and I lost my box my box knife, and I can't even open the boxes now. So why don't I just take one of these like a bargain basement brains, like just out of the bargain bin brain that kind of, it works at like 25% capacity. I'm gonna take this little bargain bin brain and I'm gonna put that in this guy right here. And there you go. All right, there's Zach. There you go. Off you go to the world with your bargain bin brain. Like, I think like the internet really shows you, really attracts those kind of people with the bargain bin brains there, and they come out, and those are the kind of people, the bargain bin brain people are the ones that invent their own narratives and takeaways to just plop onto this movie here. And I think that's part of, like, and I've talked about it before on this show, even though the show is a movie show, but hey, you know what, self-admittedly, sometimes totally out of my control. I let politics kind of like, dip its toe into my show a little bit right there. And so I think that people putting their own narratives into this movie, where the director has clearly said, no, it's not about anything but this, but they still don't hesitate for a second to put their own takeaway and narrative in the movie. Again, these are bargain bin brain people doing that. I think that's part of it's kind of an offshoot of the whole march through the institutions. Okay, that that communism, that communism has done throughout the institutions. And what do I mean by institutions? I mean like colleges, universities, media, government, Hollywood, the music business, all this stuff, right? Academia. I already said colleges and universities. So those are all the institutions, right? Government, government agencies, stuff like that. There's been a long march by communists through those institutions to take control of those institutions. And so when you get people, the bargain bin brain people, getting on X and creating videos on YouTube and trying to plunk and plop their own narrative and takeaway onto a movie like Weapons, that's kind of like their little march through Weapons. Okay, they're just trying to make everyone think, oh, the movie Weapons is really about insert political, insert bad political take here. Basically, that's what it's all about there with this movie here. And so you got to look out for that. That's something that the internet does feature. There you get a bunch of these people that have agendas. Okay, they're not just all about. They're not really about enjoying movies. They're all about using movies to lecture you and try to brainwash you and try to create new minions, new followers to their little commie cult, that kind of thing right there. So you got to look out for that. But if you're not one of those bargain bin brain people, then yeah, you can sniff that from a mile away, and you don't fall for that shit right there. That is for sure. All right. So, all right, let's do this here real quick because I'm getting extra thirsty over here. All right. But again, hey, feel free to get in a live chat here. All right. Just let me really drive home that point that, you don't have to just listen to this show or just watch the show. Okay. And listen to me yip, 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 the whole time. All right. You can get in a live chat and let me know, hey, what's what and what's up and all that stuff. Like get in there and talk to me about weapons, this weapons movie. Talk to me about any movie that you want, because I know that there's other people besides me who are into movies so much that they're just looking for a show where they can just talk ad nauseum about movies. Okay, not just the movie that I'm talking about tonight. All right, talk about movies, in general. And so that's why I always say that, if you stumbled upon this show, you're watching the show, you're basically in the middle of watching the show for like 30 seconds, and you're like, I'm not really in this show, I'm about to turn it off. Well, hey, if you know somebody that you even remotely suspects is into movies, okay, then hey, send this link their way. Instant message it to them, email it to them, whatever you got to do. Send the link to them, and so that way, since they are into movies, they may be down with this show, okay? They may be down with the movie sickness, okay? And just like I am, apparently. I'm really down with the movie sickness there. I got problems, okay? But anyway, so that's enough of that right there. I'm trying to sell you guys on getting in the live chat and, getting interactive with the show, all right? But this is one part of the show that you can't really be interactive with. This is kind of a one-man show. And this part is called Brew Review Time. Okay, everybody, let's do this here real quick. And I'm going to show you the brew for tonight in Brew Review Time. And it has one Dogfish Head 120-minute IPA. All right, this is from Dogfish Head Brewery. And right from the jump, I'll let you guys know I'm not getting any money from Dogfish Head Brewery whatsoever. Okay, if I like this beer, if I think it's piss water, that's my opinion. That's my totally objective opinion, unbiased opinion. I'm not getting any money for this whatsoever. I just love beer. I love beer. I love brew. And this show combines two of my loves: movies and beer, right there. So I love it. And so again, so this is called the 120-minute IPA, and they call it that because they actually boil this for 2 hours, okay, with continuous hopping, and then they dry hop it for a whole month right there, and this just results in like this very strong, very potent flavor profile, and it also results in a alcohol by volume that's very, very high for a beer, okay? It's like within 15 to 20% alcohol by volume, all right? Now, if you're a whiskey drinker, you're like, 50 to 20%, come on. Like, come at me when it's at least 80 or 90, all right? So, or if you're a Scotch drinker, which has to be, above a certain alcohol by volume, you're like, hey, call me when it's 100 proof, okay? There you go. But for a beer, 15 to 20% alcohol by volume is nothing to sneeze at, all right? So this is not your Bud Light tranny fluid or your Coors Light, piss water. Okay, this is serious. This is not your mama's beer. This is your daddy's beer right here. Okay, and I'll say right off the bat, I dig this beer. I like this beer. I like some beer with some heft to it. I like I like a beer that's going to put some fuzz on your peaches. Okay, I like it, and it does have like a slight citrus taste to it, and resin, and kind of a slightly sweet malt flavor to it. I should say slight sweet. This is one of the sweeter beers I've ever tasted right here. Now, that's not to say that this tastes like Coke or Pepsi, or like it's as sweet as it's as sweet as like a soda pop or a Coke or whatever you call it, depending on what region of the country you're in. Okay, I call it pop because I live here in the Midwest, but it's not as sweet as pop or anything like that. So it's just kind of sweet for a beer, okay? But it's sweet in a good way, okay? Don't let that dissuade you right there. And, if you are a hophead, you have chosen wisely, because This is the hoppy holy grail right here, if I could say that. Easier for me to say. But yeah, so this is the hoppy holy grail that Indiana Jones chose wisely in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. All right, there. So, but instead of me just talking about it here, let me take a drink off this. Excellent. So Dogfish Head Brewery, their 120-minute IPA right there. It's kind of a sharp looking label to it right there. But yeah, get your hands on some of this right here. They brew it like once a year, so it might be a little hard to get a hold of right there. But hey, you know what? Hey, at least you can do is try, right? And so you might be able to get your hands on this like via like the Open Bar app on your phone. I think that's an app that's available for both Apple and all you Android users out there. And then also like on Uber Eats does deliver beer. So, but yeah, check that out there. Again, it's the hoppy holy grail over here. All right. So as we wrap up, or as let me try it again. I'm about to wrap up this brew review time. Okay, here. So let's do something right here. Double check some stuff here going on. And all right, I'm going to do a little house cleaning right here. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay, so I'm making double checking something here real quick. All right. Thank you for bearing with me here. All right, there we go. Get this all up in here. All right, so let's do that. Okay, here we go. Double check something here. Okay. Yep. So this is what I do. I do think that's why I got this perfected down here, because I do shit on the fly. All right. There you go. Do shit on the fly here, because I'm a fly guy. That's what I am. There you go. I'm a fly guy. Okay. So over here, here we go. And see, like what those oh, that's why. Okay. That's why. Okay. Yep. Okay. Over like talking amongst myself. Talking to myself over here. I'm losing it, everybody. I'm talking to myself over here. Maybe Aunt Gladys has got my brain. She's possessing me. There you go. She got a lock of my hair, and she's about to take over my brain. There. I don't have long, guys. You better get in the live chat and talk to me while I'm still human and I still have my faculties and I still have agency. You better talk to me while I'm there. There we go. Get out of that. Okay, sounds good. All right, real quick here. Let me just let you guys know that there is this thing called Movies Merica merch. Okay, and so it's like Movies Merica, like T-shirts, shot glasses. You even got Movies Merica jewelry. Okay, if you're a terrible gift giver to your woman, and you're like, you know what, I could go to K Jewelers and get my woman a nice, beautiful, diamond ring or a diamond necklace, but I'm a lousy boyfriend. I'm going to go get her some Movies Merica jewelry. If you're that guy, hey, there's Movies Merica jewelry. We got Movies Merica yoga pants, Movies Merica cell phone cases, what have you, okay? And a lot of other stuff that has the Movies Merica logo on it there as well. And in order to see all that stuff and see what does have all that Movies Merica stuff on it, you just have to click on the Movies Merica merch link in the description down below. Just click on that Movies Merica merch link down in the description down below, and then click on that, and then the page that comes up, you might see the Movies Merica merch right away. Otherwise, you might have to scroll down a wee little bit, okay, and you'll see all the Movies Merica merch there. And yeah, get yourself, some good Movies Merica merch for yourself or for some others there. I mean, I don't know. Do people like give each other gifts on Labor Day? Because Labor Day is coming up here, maybe. I don't know. So, you don't know. You don't know. Anyway, so, but so, maybe give the gift of Movies Merica to a loved one right there. And then right now, in order to sweeten the deal, if you put in promo code MOVIES when you go into the Movies Merica page there, you're going to get free shipping on all your stuff that you order, okay? So it doesn't matter if you order $813.24 worth of Movies Merica merch, you getting all that shipped to you for free, brother or sister, okay? So pretty sweet deal there. So, and I would be amazed, like if you order $813.24 of Movies Merica merch, I'll come to your house and I'll do a little singing telegram to you to show my thanks. Right? Wait, maybe I shouldn't offer that because then that's going to make you not want to have Movies Merica merch. Okay, I am not going to do that whatsoever. Right? I'm not going to do that. Don't you worry. Buy all that merch, and you don't have to worry about me showing up unexpected at your house like Aunt Gladys. Okay, we'll not do that. All right, there you go. All right. So I mean, but yeah, I don't have much more to say about weapons there. I mean, what's there to say? There's so many things that have been said about the movie Weapons, but this is like probably not probably. Okay, so this is like my top 3 most anticipated movies of this year. I'd say like F1 was up there as like far as a highly anticipated movie. Sinners, I was looking forward to that. Didn't turn out as good as I was hoping it was going to be there. And then Weapons, just because I loved what Zach Cregger did with Barbarian back a few years ago. And I knew that he was coming out with a new movie here in 2025. And I'm like, God, please let this, this second Zach Cregger movie be good. And my God, was it? I mean, it's incredible. And I love it when you have a box office weekend where it has a movie that people are just the word of mouth is out there, okay? Where, you'll be out somewhere and people will be just all about, hey, man, did you see the Weapons movie? Or like, about a month and a half ago, people were like, hey, man, did you see F1? Oh, yeah, that F1 movie? Oh, yeah, did you see that? I mean, F1 was another, the weekend that the weekend that F1 first came out was another comparable weekend to this weekend where Weapons came out here, where it's just, there's a vibe in the air. People are talking about this hot new movie that came out, even though Freakier Friday came out on the same weekend as Weapons did last weekend. Weapons was an R-rated movie that took the #1 spot at the box office. I mean, by a lot. It wasn't even close. There was no neck and neck. There was no photo finish between Weapons and Freakier Friday. Weapons kicked the ever-living shit out of Freakier Friday at the box office. So, Weapons had 42.9% or 42.9 million domestically, and then Freakier Friday had 25 million domestically there, and then of course they had international numbers as well. But who cares about international numbers? All right, this is about Merica. All right, but so all that to say is that it was great that Weapons, most likely, from just sheer word of mouth. And again, that's why I always encourage people when you see a quality movie, share that shit with people. Let people know. Don't be a shrinking violet. Don't be shy and always show a good movie, but I'm scared to tell anybody. But I don't want to be embarrassed. Don't be that guy. Don't be that gal. All right, tell people. You see a good movie, tell people about it. Scream it from the mountaintops. All right. So ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough. All right, there you go. All right, just scream about a great movie right there. I mean, believe me. A few weeks ago, I was screaming from the highest mountaintops here about F1, and this week I'm screaming from the highest mountaintops about Weapons. And so it's about time that Hollywood lets a good original movie come out there. And, it's easier for them to do it with a horror movie. Pardon me. Because horror movies are typically they're lower budget, okay? And so there's not as much risk for Hollywood studios. So most times Hollywood studios are Oh, you have an original idea? Okay, what is it? You better hope it's like a horror movie or a cheap wacky comedy or a cheap rom-com or a romantic movie. It better not be big budget, because the more money the budget is, the less we're apt to adapt your original idea. But if it's like a $40 million movie like Weapons was, then yeah, and Zach Cregger, and you have like a hit movie underneath your belt like Zach Cregger had with Barbarian. Okay, yeah, we're going to give you some more latitude, and we're going to really market the shit out of your original movie here. And they did that with Weapons. And now I think I know Warner Brothers has another hit on their hands here in 2025, and Warner Brothers has been killing it in 2025. Like Aunt Gladys kills, Warner Brothers has killed at the box office this year, between this and Sinners and F1 and other movies. There's Minecraft. Okay, so great box office wins for Warner Brothers. So, but and then what's another point I was gonna bring up here? So, like with Weapons, I think that this is I think that the best thing you could do is go see Weapons at the theater there, because we have to send the message to Hollywood that we don't just want cookie cutter prequels, sequels, requels, reboots. We don't want Marvel movie numbers 317 and DC movie number 211. Okay. We don't want, just Star Wars, and, we want stuff that tantalizes us, that's unpredictable. Okay. Now there's a time and place for, popular IP and all that stuff, but only if they really do it well. Right. Okay. Like Marvel did in the first 10 years of its existence right there. I mean, you can't argue with the superior excellence of what the MCU did from 2008 to 2019, starting with Iron Man all the way up through Endgame. All right. So as long as the movies are of that quality, through that time period, oh yeah, let's have all the Marvel movies that you want. Same with DC. The DC movies are as good as The Dark Knights. That was a DC movie. Then yeah, hey, let's have more DC movies. But nowadays, come on, let's be honest. They are not of that quality. Okay, they are. Their quality that you can't even tolerate right there. And hey, Crash at Night, welcome here in the live chat with the booyah. There you go. Can I smell what the Crash at Night is cooking? Oh yeah, he's up in the live chat going booyah. And hey, Crash at Night, just kind of curious. Do you have like a favorite horror movie, or are you into horror movies at all? Right there, I'm just kind of curious. Right there, I always like to ask people, like, hey, what's your favorite horror movie? Because chances are it's a horror movie that I dig too. So unless it's like Hocus Pocus, if I gotta say, if Hocus Pocus with Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker is your favorite horror movie, I don't want to know you. Okay, there you go. But yeah, I'm just glad for Weapons. They're glad to see that it got the number one spot at the theater, and I think that we've got. I think that Weapons has a pretty good shot at Amy Madigan being nominated for Best Supporting Actress for her role as Aunt Gladys. I mean, Aunt Gladys as the evil witch in this movie right here, because she does take over the screen. She is this unnerving, formidable, unforgettable character that just gets in your head, just gets under your skin. And you're just like, oh, this bitch is evil. Oh my gosh, she's daunting and formidable and scary as fuck. And my God, like she's unassuming. You look at her like she looks like just some harmless old lady, but man, just the evil, just the sick shit that she has people do in this movie, and that she threatens, and so she's just like this unforgettable evil in this movie. And so I think that and people are talking about her. I mean, there's like countless videos on YouTube about Aunt Gladys and her origins and what she does in this movie. I mean, it's like the video I played for you earlier. She's just a character that just inspires content creators to just make these videos exclusively about Aunt Gladys. I mean, you're not seeing them make videos exclusively about Paul the policeman or about the teacher Julia Garner, Miss Gandy or Archer played by Josh Brolin. They're not making videos exclusively about other characters in this movie. The character they are making exclusive videos about is Aunt Gladys, because she just is this enigmatic character that you just can't get out of your head from this movie there. And again, I didn't touch on this, but that whole scene that I was talking about where she just kind of walks her way, kind of barges her way into Marcus's house and into their kitchen and all that where she basically just kills, causes Marcus, puts him in a spell to kill his husband. All right. And that whole scene right there just reminded me of this introductory scene like we saw with the Joker in The Dark Knight, right? Now, technically in The Dark Knight, they introduced Joker in the very first scene, the bank heist scene, where he's like, that which does not kill you makes you stranger, But the scene that really puts the Joker on the map in Dark Knight is, when the villains of Gotham are having their little therapy session there, and then the Joker walks in and is like, ha, ha, hee, hee, ha, 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 hee, hee, ha, ha. Oh, and I thought my jokes were bad, and he does that whole scene where, hey, do you want to see a magic trick? I'm going to make something disappear. And he takes the guy's head and plunges it into the pencil and impales his eye with a pencil. Ta-da! That whole scene in The Dark Knight, right? That's an iconic scene that introduces the Joker and really drives home the point. Like, this Heath Ledger portrayal of the Joker is no joke. All right. It's a force to reckon with. And so I think that scene with Aunt Gladys and Amy Madigan playing Aunt Gladys and that whole kitchen scene right there, man, that is like a Academy Award earning scene right there. But let me drink to that. And Crash the Night says, yeah, she's the new nun. Yeah, she is the nun, from, I'm assuming you talk about the nun from Annabelle, in the Conjuring movies. Had a senior moment there for a second. She's creepy. Like the nun. Now the nun is more overtly creepy because you look at a nun, he's just got this creepy face, and the nun comes from out of the darkness, out of the shadows and shit. Especially like if you watch The Conjuring 2, the nun character is really creepy in The Conjuring 2. Gladys is she's got that same evil. I think Aunt Gladys and the nun, I think they'd hang out. They'd probably hang out. There's probably, if there's some satanic nightclub somewhere, and call it like a Club Satan, hey, everybody, welcome to Club Satan. Free commies for the ladies. All right. Hey, nun. Hey, Aunt Gladys, get up in here and hit the dance floor here at Club Satan. Come on in. I can see the nun and Aunt Gladys having a ladies' night out at Club Satan right there, and hanging out. So they're both very evil characters, very evil entities right there. So I can see them hanging out at Club Satan. I mean, there you go. Matter of fact, actually, it's a kind of a cool name for a club. I'm going to start that. Maybe write up a business plan for Club Satan. There you go. I think that I would not be surprised if she does get a nomination. Pardon me, for Best Supporting Actress here at the Oscars here. Now, the Oscar voters are they're very snobby, they're very snooty, they're very uppity, and they look down their nose at horror movies. And also Aunt Gladys doesn't have an English accent. She's not a lesbian. She's not missing a limb. She's not a POC, as they stupidly call, the stupid terminology that they use there. She's not a POC. She's not a person of color. All right. So she's it's going to be an uphill battle for Amy Madigan, a evil white woman, to be nominated for for an Oscar right there. But hey, stranger things have happened there. You never know there. And Crash Night, like, girls movie night. Yeah. Hey, Nun, you want to come on over and talk about Satan? Oh, yeah, there, Gladys. I'll come on over. Let's talk about Satan. There we go. Let's talk about boys. And by boys, I mean demons. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Best movie night ever. Okay. All right. Well, with that awkward note right there, I want to get into my favorite segment of every Movies America spoiler warning show. And that is, of course, the movie military moment. And so the movie military moment, what that is it's the opportunity that I give myself to pay tribute to someone that has been awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. Okay, so, and now you might be wondering right now, hey, Van, that's great and all. I mean, yeah, let's honor our military. I'm all for that, but what the hell does that have to do with movies there, man? What kind of crap are you trying to pull here, buddy? And well, you know what? There is a connection. There is a connection. All right, I would not try to pull a fast one on you. All right, at least not in this regard. I'll maybe try to pull a fast one of a different type on you, but not this time. Not this time. So yes, there is a connection, and I owe you an explanation for that, but not until after this. All right, so explanation forthcoming. So the connection between honoring a recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor and movies is, just picture this, okay? So if you are awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor, okay, you didn't get it for being the best booger picker on the military base, all right? You didn't get it for shining the best boots or, eating the most chow at the chow hall. No, you got it for doing something cool, like, you're in France during World War II, all right? And it's D-Day, right? And you've landed not on the beach, but you've landed in France somewhere. And you and your squad, you're taking heavy fire from those evil Germans in France. And you're basically, you're a corpsman, right? You render medical aid, okay? And you got some guys, and they're getting shot up and whatnot, and you run to those guys to render medical aid without any kind of concern about your own well-being. You don't have any cover. The Germans are over here. They're lighting up your squad with heavy machine gun fire. And you're like, I don't care. These guys over here, these are my guys. These are my buddies. They're injured. I'm running over there. So you go over there, you render medical aid to your corpsman, and then you get like a bunch of Germans. They basically sneak up on you, and then you grab like a couple of grenades and you hurl them at the Germans, and you blow a bunch of them up until they look like little pieces of German grape nuts. Their body parts everywhere and whatnot. And then their reinforcements come in. You grab some more grenades, and you grab a flamethrower, and you Kentucky Fried. The Germans, they're like flailing all over the place on fire. And then some other Germans come along, and then you like grab, your BAR, that's your Browning automatic rifle for all your civilians. You grab it, and you're mowing down Germans all over the place, and you're not even taking cover. You're trying to draw them away from your injured buddies over here, and then you fling a couple more grenades and whatnot, and then you get shot in the leg. And you get shot in your arm, and you're like, I don't care. I'm still gonna tackle these dirty sauerkraut sucking Germans over here, right? And you take them out. Hey, you cook a few more with your flamethrower. Yeah, you ventilate a few more with your BAR, and finally, you succumb to your wounds, but only after you've saved countless lives and whatnot. And if you saw that all on a big movie screen right in front of you, it would be a spectacular movie military moment, okay? And that's the connection right there, everybody, all right? And if you're not buying what I'm selling, I don't care. That's what I'm talking about. All up in here, everybody. Okay. And so our honoree for this movie military moment there, as I almost forgot what the name of the segment was, is one Private Robert Lester Blackwell. Okay. Now, I've said before in the movie military moment that usually the older the war, the older the conflict, the more brief the citations, the more brief the description of what the hero did is. Okay. So like if I'm reading a citation about someone in the GWAT or the Global War on Terror, it's Afghanistan or Iraq. The citations, the description of what they did are long, like paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs. And then you get Vietnam, it's a little shorter. And you get Korean War, a little shorter, and then World War II, it's a little shorter still. And then you get eventually to World War I, which is where we're at right now. And World War I and Civil War, a lot of the citations, a lot of the heroes from World War I in the Civil War, the description of what they did are very short, if even existent, because I guess they just didn't even think about writing up a description, or they've been lost to the annals of history. But we have such a case in this instance tonight. Man, I got the beer burps going on really bad tonight. So I know apologies, everybody. I know I look like a real real idiot with my beer burping going on here tonight. But hey, man, what it is what it is. Let's deal. You gotta trudge through, right? Onwards and upwards. So anyway, not to take anything away from Private Robert Lester Blackwell, our honoree for this movie military moment. Okay. So again, this is going to be a short one here because there's not really much of a description to what Private Blackwell did here. But we know what? We are going to pay Private Blackwell his due here. And part of that is getting Private Blackwell some respectable movie military moment music that he deserves. So let's take care of that right now. This is the movie military moment. And for this movie military moment, our proud honoree is one Private Robert Lester Blackwell, who fought for us in World War I in France. And let's learn more about Private Blackwell, shall we? When his platoon was almost surrounded by the enemy, and his platoon commander asked for volunteers to carry a message calling for reinforcements, Private Blackwell volunteered for this mission, well knowing the extreme danger connected with it. In attempting to get through the heavy shell and machine gun fire, this gallant soldier was killed. So that is it for the description, for the citation for Private Blackwell there. But you're going to have to use your imagination a little bit more than usual. You're going to have to use your imagination a little bit more than you have to for our typical honorees in this movie military moment. But that's not to say that Private Robert Lester Blackwell was not a hero. Okay, surely he was, and that's why we honor him in this movie military moment. All right, so I always feel bad for those heroes in World War I and Civil War. I mean, like a lot of them are, they were awarded their Congressional Medal of Honor posthumously for all you public school attendees. That means after they died, that's when they were awarded their Medal of Honor. That's what posthumously means right there. And I'm not even going to ask you how to spell that, because if you went to public school, probably the only thing you know about the word is it starts with the letter P. But anyway, and I said it as a guy who went to public school, so or government school, as I call it now, right there. But anyway, I'm taking away from Private Robert Lester Blackwell's time right here as our hero that we are honoring during this movie military moment there. Okay, so with that here, let's wrap up this movie military moment. All right, everybody. So just let me take a minute or two just to remind you that, hey, if you are enjoying what I am doing here, if you're enjoying the show enough to maybe throw a buck or two my way, if you're appreciating it enough to throw a couple of shekels, a couple of pesos my way, well, you can most certainly do that via Rumble and YouTube, okay? So the way you do that in Rumble is down in the live chat message box down by where you type in your live chat message there. You just have to click on the button with a $sign on it, and then it'll just ask you how much you want to donate my way, and that's it. Very easy, lemon squeezy, okay? And then on YouTube, it works very similarly, okay? Down by where you type in your live chat message there, just click on the button with a dollar bill on it, and it'll just, again, ask you how much you want to donate, and that's it, okay? So clicking on the buttons, whether it's the $sign or dollar bill, it doesn't commit you to donating because it's just going to pop up something asking you how much you want to donate, and then if you want to X out of there, if you want to get out of there, you're like, you know what, second that, yeah, this knucklehead doesn't deserve even 1 penny of my money. I'm not donating this guy, all right? Then you can always back out. So, but I just want to take a minute or two to kind of let you know that if you are so inclined, then yeah, that's how you do it right there. Again, only if you're compelled to. I know that I watch the other people's shows. I'm like, yeah, you really don't deserve even 1 penny of my money. Or sometimes they more than definitely deserve some of my money, and then I will donate to them. Or sometimes I'm just too broke to do it. Okay, I know that's the case in some instances too. You watch my show, you're like, hey Van, I really like what you're doing, but man, I am flat broke. Okay, and I totally understand. Only if you can afford it. Okay. By all means, feel free to throw some money my way. But, I just appreciate people watching the show. Now, I really appreciate people watching the show and live chatting like my man Crash at Night is doing here in the live chat right there because, he's going above and beyond. All right, he's manning the fuck up and live chatting right there. So, and unfortunately, I don't see any more in there manning the fuck up with Crash at Night other than him right here. Because so he's he's the lone hero. All right, he's the lone Wolf McQuaid. He's the lone survivor up in here in the live chat right there. My guess is, anyway, I was about to theorize where everybody else is at right there. So, but whether it's a donkey show or a gangbang or a preseason NFL game, who knows? There you go. But anyway, so let's see here. What else we got going on here tonight as we wrap this up? Because I'm kind of wrapping it up early tonight. Like you can probably tell, my throat's kind of killing me over here. So, and no, it has nothing to do with Dylan Mulvaney or anything like that. No, nothing of the sort. Okay, there. It's just talking too much this week and yelling and all that stuff and screaming. It's one thing I forget is, so I do a show where I talk a lot, and I always forget that, you know what, that's what I do, and I need to be more careful with my voice during the week. I can't be like going out and going to karaoke nights and screaming songs and screaming at chicks and all that stuff. I gotta like conserve my voice and that kind of thing. And so I kind of forgot that lesson this week here. So that's why my voice is it's a teetering. It's a suffering. Okay, but the movie. Okay, for next week. Okay, now that we are saying bye to weapons. We are going to move on to the movie for next week here. And that movie for next week is going to be Nobody 2. Yes, the sequel to the surprise Bob Odenkirk action comedy hit from a few years ago. So Bob Odenkirk, most people know him from Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad as Saul Goodman right there. I know him from way back in the day from being on Mr. Show. Okay, Mr. Show, the comedy variety show that was on HBO. He was on there with David Cross there, and also he was also on How I Met Your Mother. Okay, there, and he was funny on that show there as well. But so now we have Bob Odenkirk. His new movie Nobody 2 is coming out tomorrow, or probably later on tonight. There, and so that'll be the movie for this Sunday's show. And this Sunday's show, the Sunday show is the spoiler-free show called Movies Merica Live. Let me do it again. Let me say it with more conviction. Movies Merica Live, okay? And that is a spoiler-free show that comes on Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, and 1 p.m. Pacific, okay, on YouTube and Rumble. And so I'll be doing my live spoiler-free review of Nobody 2. And also I'll be describing, hey, is Nobody 2 a woke after-school special? Should you go see it? I'll be doing another brew review time. All that on Sunday, discussing the new Bob Odenkirk action comedy movie, Nobody 2, okay? And that means that the show next Thursday, a week from tonight, will be a Movies America spoiler warning show all about, you guessed it, Nobody 2, okay? And we'll be doing a deeper dive, be doing a busting out the scalpel and doing an autopsy on Nobody 2 next Thursday night, okay? And, hey, if you're somebody that suspects that, hey, you're going to watch Nobody 2 and, you don't just suspect, you know you're going to see Nobody 2. And maybe you want to be on the show next Thursday and you want to, talk some Nobody 2 right there. Hey, let me know in my DMs on X under @MoviesMerica right there. And we can, maybe make that happen there. So, and speaking of my X account under @MoviesMerica there, if you follow me on any of the platforms there, follow me on Gab, on Rumble, on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, well, then let me know let me know in the DMs or direct message on X. And again, my X account is @MoviesMerica. Just DM me. How do you DM somebody in X is if they do allow you to DM you. There's a little button that has an envelope there. And just got to click on that. And just let me know, hey, Van, I followed you on this platform and that platform and that platform and that platform. And I will follow you back on those very same platforms there because, hey, you were nice enough to scratch my back. I'm going to scratch your back. And I am a generous lover. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. I am going to scratch your back in the most non-romantic, friendly way possible, okay? And you know what? It costs neither of us a dime. It's free of charge to do that right there, okay? So, so go ahead and follow me on Rumble. You're probably going to see, you're definitely going to see more than one Movies America account on Rumble. So, hey, just follow me on all two or three of them there. If you're feeling very industrious, feel free to go on there and start liking the hell out of all the episodes on there. Just go to the episode, hit like, go to that episode, hit like, go to that episode, hit like. If you're, maybe you just, snorted a couple of rails of Coke and you're like, I need something to do. You're like just buzzing, and hey, then just go to any of the Movies America accounts on Rumble, on Facebook, on YouTube, and just start going like crazy. Just go like, just hit that like button, like, okay, and do that. There you go, okay? So, but all that to say is, follow me if you would, and I will follow you back if you let me know to do that very, very thing. But I just want to thank everybody for checking out the show, watching the show. I want to thank my man Crash at Night for not just watching the show, but getting up in the live chat right there. And again, this Sunday, Movies America Live, Sunday afternoon, Movies America spoiler warning next Thursday night right there. Okay, so all right, we are ready to wrap this bad boy up. But like I always say, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya. Howdy, my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. Would you do me a favor and check me out at solo.to/moviesmerica? That's where you would go for a one-stop shop for all the links that have to do with me, Movies Merica. And then also, if you want to check out the audio-only podcast versions of my Movies Merica live episodes, that's my spoiler-free reviews that I do on Sunday, you can go to moviesmerica.com or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, places like that. And then, actually, if you would also check me out on the social media sites like X and Instagram and Facebook and Gab. And I'm on those locations all under @MoviesMerica. So it is very easy to find me out there, all right? So get to it, everybody. All right, thanks for watching. Later.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got the popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'll be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right. Thanks for watching.